So on today's episode of How Big of a Cheap Ass Can You Be When Building a Race Car, I decided to do brakes. It's Saturday. I wasn't going to really do much this weekend, but decided I could get this done. The guy doesn't have the front end out of the Corvette yet. Not the end of the world. I'm not in the biggest hurry for it. Because I got to flip the car around without an axle in it, which means I'm going to have to put some kind of dollies under the back and then lift the front with the jack and spin it, back it in, get the engine out, cut the mounts out, and then put the front end in. Then the engine's going to come forward a hair because I like where it's at, but I don't. It's too much into the cab of it, and I'm not. The trans is literally like right on me where I've got it. The car should be nice and low when it's done, though. I mean, I'm gonna try to make sure it ain't totally on the ground, but it'll make it easier because I was gonna build an air dam for the front, so it ain't got to be 20 foot long to reach the ground. So there's that. But here's what we're doing today. I'm gonna put a camera on this while I kind of tinker, or you know what? It's got to go to the machine shop. But I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, and you will get the uh, gist of it. I let me. The reason I'm doing the brakes like this is because I don't have the extra $800 I need for a brake kit. And these are the brakes off of the car, off of the rear, which wasn't rear wheel drive, and I should be able to make them work. The calipers look exactly like the ones off of an S10, except for these are the back. I just took off the parking brake assembly, which goes on here. And then what needs to happen is this hole needs to match this out here, okay? And then once I'm going to take both the brackets to machine shop, measure this diameter on the outside, have that cut to it, then I'll hold it up and center it to here, like how you just seen it, but the hole's going to be, well, it'll be on the back here, and have it centered. Take a marker, come in, and just mark it, drill the holes for the studs that go in there, and then I've got to cut this, and I've been debating on, do I cut it like this and use 3 bolts, or do I cut it in half, weld it back together when it's on? If I do that, I'm kind of stuck with it. So I'm probably going to cut it at an angle and so it'll slide over it. But it doesn't have to slide over this. It has to slide over the axle, which is a hair smaller, but not by much. And there's that. What else are we going to talk about today? This is going to sound funny, but I really need a 308 gear, which it came with the 307. But it's a factory gear. I don't know how it's going to hold up to all this torque, even though it is a Dana 60. They factory gears. I mean, you got to figure this is out of like something from the 70s or 80s. So the axle's out of a dually, and I just cut the ends, and here we are. A Dana 60 is a Dana 60. 61's pretty much the same axle. There's a couple of differences with the bearings, but if you had one, you could deal with it. I'm more of a Dana guy than I am a Ford 9-inch guy any day of the week. The real thrill to having a Ford 9-inches, if you're going 1/8 mile to quarter, you can just flop out the third member to the gear you need. Whereas I'm pretty much going to be stuck without a second rear end, which I'm not that worried about it. All my stuff I'm pretty much do is quarter mile. That's the cross members in. This coming week, I'm probably going to go get the steel to build the back half. We'll get that knocked out. And that's pretty much it. The rear end has to go back and get shortened to get another 5 inches on each side. I kind of screwed up, and I realized something the other day when I was dealing with my chicken coop. When I'm looking at the measuring tape upside down, the numbers are on my head backwards, and that's how I was saying them. So rather than being a total of 45 inches, I did a total of 55. Or, I'm sorry, 54, because I had the numbers backwards. It happens. I even measured it twice, but I was looking at the numbers upside down, and it just was in my brain that way, and I screwed it up. So I'm definitely not perfect. Where else are we at? Get the car turned around. I'll probably start taking the rear window out and doing body work too here soon, probably within the next couple weeks. It's crazy. There's no interior in it, and I want to save the headliner of all things. Don't ask me why. I want to put the roll cage in with it, and that way I don't have to deal with it later. Because I do want to put an interior back in it just to do certain racing. I want to do some of the 275 classes. You have to have a full interior back in it, so that's kind of where I landed again. I do want a big tire car. I'm gonna set it up close, but it's gonna be a 275 car. Um, that's about it. So what I'm doing for brakes is the old brakes off the back of this, which were on the swing arms, are pretty much the bolt pattern for any of the 10 bolt or 12 bolt rear ends GM built. The bolt pattern for it. They look, the calipers are exactly, the front calipers are the same as an S10 uses. The rear are the same except for they have a parking brake in it. So I'm going to use those. Uh, Also, the rotor is only 10.5 inches. It's not the biggest thing you've ever seen in the world, but they do make drilled and slotted rotors for it. So we're going to go that route. And then the Corvette front end should have, I want to say 11.5 rotors in the front, 12, somewhere around there. I'm not 100%, but I know they're very upgradable compared to what I have. And most of the stoppings in the front anyways, but these backs will work damn well, I think, for this, because the car, I think, weighed 3830 or 3930, so close to 4,000 pounds. By the time I'm done, this sucker should be right around 2,800 to 3,000. That's without me in it, mind you. But you start taking weight off, the brakes that were marginal tend to work a little better with 1,000 pounds less, or 800 pounds less, 900 pounds less, however you want to look at it. But less weight means the bid brakes better, and I think it'll work out great. Um, I think that's it for right now. I'm gonna plug away at this. I think I'm at a standstill though. I've been messing with it for the last hour. I might have to go to the machine shop Monday morning and see how much. And here's the thing: if it's too much to machine the circles out for this, then I'm just gonna have to buy. I'm gonna have to suck it up, come up with $800 that I don't have, and get the brakes I need. Um, which sucks for me. It's just gonna set me back that much farther. But if I can get this on there, it helps me out, and I can get going faster. I always think outside the box, just like the gear drive. I mean, I'm always thinking of something. Numbers are always running around in my head. I'm not the most articulated guy, but numbers I can do. um, like I told you before, like, subscribe. We'll get there on this car. I am trying my damnedest. I am shooting for November to at least get it running without a cage. Even if I don't have the floor pans, and I'll take it out here in the street, give you a video of freaking launching it. I'm trying. We'll see where we end up. Like, subscribe, tell your buddies, tell your friends if they're into it. They're trying to build a cheap race car. Run it by me. Text me on YouTube. Say, hey, what would you do here? And I'll tell you what parts I could find in the junkyard to make work, like these brakes. You know, I have a set of 96 Impala brakes running around for the other rear end I've got sitting against the wall for the Impala, but it's also got Ford big bearing ends on it now too, which my kid now owns my Impala. He's out there tinkering with it, and he drives it every day. But he went from a 373 gear down to a 308 with a 6-speed, and it doesn't take off real well. So I told him to build this one, put some 410s in it, 411s, whatever the GM gears are, and that thing will work great. It's programmed, the ECU's programmed for 373s now. I just got to be gone back through and for the 410s and whatever tire he's running for the height. Yeah. We're going to get there quick. I know it's been a long time. I've been mentally, I just wasn't with it. I wanted to get it done, but at the same time, it was a fight. I'm with it now. I'm ready to race. And I know I said a couple weeks ago I was going to start doing the El Camino. Well, I'm not saying I'm not a Chevy guy, but what I'm saying is when it comes to racing, LSs and small blocks are like assholes. Most people, or everybody has them. I mean, look at the Mustangs running around here. One of my buddies got one with a 6-liter in it, like Fox body. Trying to talk him into a 408 with Cleveland heads, but he didn't want to listen, or he didn't want to spend the money. And he found out it cost just as much to build the LS as it would have to build that Ford, and the Ford would have made more power and actually aspirated. But that's just me. I'll be posting more videos at least once a week. I'll try. I'll be more detailed. I'm going to start making short videos and stitch them together for smaller stuff that I just can't do long videos on. So there's that. And we're there, man. Just hang in there. we'll try to get it at least if I can get it on the road by November. I'd like to get it to the track and test it, but you know how that's going to go. It's going to be spring, and I know it. I've just got high hopes. What is it? What's that song? Damn. I got high hopes. Yeah, don't give up my day job, right? I'll catch you guys on the flip side.